Are you ready for Freddy?
No! Oh, too late!
Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Are you able to use your skills to overcome tension and survive 5 nights at Freddy's?
Really? Another game that came out years ago? Do you just not know how to tell time? Not now, voice in my head. I'm trying to be dramatic. If you do it like that, it's gonna take forever. Let me take over for a moment. 5 Nights at Freddy's is a game where monsters pop out and go boo. It's psychological. It wears on your psyche, because you can't fight back in any way, shape, or form. You can shut the door, but if you shut it for too long, they're gonna get you anyways. Like pap! Bibbidi boo! Grant you 3 wishes. Just kidding, you're dead. This ain't no Silurenda. Your main goal is to survive all 5 nights without the scary monsters popping out and going eh. Or in this case... No, I'm just kidding. It's a horrible screeching noise.
5 Nights at Freddy's was one of a kind when it was released, breathing new life into the horror genre of games. Despite the simple design, it exudes a particular feeling of fear through the player's own paranoia. FNAF is a new kind of helpless horror. In most horror games, you have one of 2 mechanics. You can either run or fight back. In this, however, you can do neither. You are forced, instead, to watch as your enemies walk circles around you, waiting as they draw ever closer, knowing that there is almost nothing you can do to stop them.
So, you'll have a couple of friends keeping you company throughout the long nights at Freddy's. First of which is Freddy Fazbear himself, for whom the pizza chain is named. Second of which is his best friend, Barney the Bunny, the guitarist of the band and someone who does not like to stay in one place for long periods of time. Third of which is Cheeky the Chicken. She likes serving food and the occasional jump scare. Fourth and final character is Foxy the Pirate Fox. Foxy? Oh no. Oh, where'd he go? I'm sure he'll be back soon. The game takes place in a haunted pizzeria, and you, the player, as the newly hired minimum wage security guard, have to make sure that the possessed animatronics don't kill the shit out of you. And that's it.
Wait, but how's it done? How do you do that?
So, using your security guard powers, you can sit in your chair and watch the monitor.
Ed?
And that's it.
Well, how do you stop the animatronics from getting you?
You gotta close the door, stupid.
Oh. Why don't you just leave the door closed the whole time?
Cause your company is going under and they have a power budget.
So wait, once you run out of power...
Try it. The animatronics can just come give you a big old lovey hug. Of death. Your only defense against the animatronics are magical doors that defy the power of gravity. Also, blast shield doors in a children's fun factory. Completely necessary. I mean, what if one of them comes at you with snot in their nose or something? Gotta keep them out somehow.
I just want a hug.
Yeah, you're out of here.
I honestly wonder what would happen if, after learning on the first night that they want to stuff you inside of a Freddy Fazbear suit, if on the second night you just showed up wearing the suit.
Just Foxy showing up like, wait a second. You already have a suit on. And you're like, yeah? He's like, well, fuck. You have one primary motivation in this game, and that is to not get yourself stuffed inside of a costume.
Well, I like costumes.
Oh, yeah? Do you also like it when your eyeballs pop out of the front because it's full of metal beams and wires and stuff?
Well, I mean, when you put it like that, I guess not.
Oh, too late.
You can only survive by using your power wisely and avoiding the animatronics until the end of your shift. Each night starts at 12 a.m. and runs until 6 a.m., with each hour lasting about 86 seconds. So, from 12 a.m. midnight to 6 a.m. morning, let's see, do a little quick math here. That's 87 hours of gameplay per each night.
No. Here, put this on.
Each night is actually about 8 minutes and 36 seconds long.
I was close.
No, you weren't. Anyway, while that might not seem like a long time,
when you got animatronics chomping at the bit to get after you,
each second feels like a kickball being slowly inserted into my ball bin.
Now, people who want to rag on this game do so because they think it's too simple. First of all, this came from one guy, not a team of AAA developers, okay? I want to see your game. Where's your game? Is your game simple? I'm sorry, did you make a better game all by yourself? Where's your game? I want to see it. I want to see it on my desk. 5 p.m. Saturday. Out on the basketball court.
Some of the best mechanics of this game come from its simplicity. The cameras blink out when an animatronic moves. Of course, they're still images, but it still freaks you out because they can teleport anywhere.
Oh my god, Bonnie.
Most of the game's mechanics revolve around task management. Gotta keep an eye on the cameras, on your door lights, on your doors themselves, on Foxy, on Freddy, on Bonnie, on Chica, on Dasher, on Blitzen. Ho, 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 it's hell on earth for all. On the surface, it appears to be very straightforward, but it's what is hidden underneath the water's ebb and flow that piques the interest of thousands. The lore is steep with mystery, and for every answer you find, it raises even more questions. Things seem to change randomly, and as the nights wear on, just when you thought it might be safer, they change the rules on you. The animatronics get much more aggressive as the week progresses. They start to shift in weird ways, akin to the fact that they are indeed possessed. Now, I know it kinda seems obvious, like, duh, these things are possessed, they're coming after you, they're killing you, yada yada yada. And if there's any doubt in your mind, let me point out something that might have slipped your mind. Wow, that was redundant. Now, one of the main rules of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is that an animatronic cannot be seen without its costume on. Bonnie seems to ignore this rule entirely, as when he walks into the room with all the spare parts, there is an endoskeleton sitting right on the table, which he ignores. Now, per the rules, he would try and stuff that endoskeleton inside of a Freddy Fazbear suit, but he ignores it and goes after you. The animatronics bear a similarity to the weeping angels from Doctor Who, in that they move only when not being observed, teleporting great distances in the blink of an eye. Foxy's sprint not included. Oh no! Oh, here he comes. Oh, get the door, get the door, get the door. Evening, pal. The pizza's ready. Now, there's two questions that more people ask than any, and I'm going to try and answer them for you as clearly and precisely as I can. Question 1. It's so scary. Why does your character come back every night? Is he stupid? Do you know how hard it is to find a job in this economy? And canonically, he does beat all 5 nights without dying. He must have thought the job was an easy one, though we sure don't. Next question. Why don't you just bring a gun?
Are you serious? Do you want to get fired immediately? Also, not sure a gun would do very much against an animatronic, because they don't have any, organs.
Nope. For those of you who care about the story of Five Nights at Freddy's, it's given to you in 2 ways. The first way is the most obvious way, given to you by the man colloquially known as Phone Guy, via pre-recorded message at the beginning of each night. Being a security guard not unlike yourself, he also serves as the tutorial of sorts for the game. He is also known for his gratuitous amounts of greetings. Hello. 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 Hell the f*** already! A little known fact is that Phone Guy's voice is actually supplied by the maker of Five Nights at Freddy's, Scott Cawthon himself. The second way the story is given to is much more subtle. In the hallway containing the rules, sometimes when you switch between cameras, the rules page will turn into a newspaper clipping containing some of the horrid history of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. There are a total of 4 articles that can appear on the walls, and I'll detail them for you in order of relevance. The first journal article reads, "Kids vanish at local pizzeria. Bodies not found. 2 local children were reportedly lured into the back room during the late hours of operation at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza on the night of June 26. While video surveillance identified the man responsible and led to his capture the following morning, the children themselves were never found and are presumed dead. Police think that the subject dressed as a company mascot to earn the children's trust." The second journal article reads, 5 children now reported missing. Suspect convicted. 5 children are now linked to the incident at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where a man dressed as a cartoon mascot lured them into a back room. While the suspect has been charged, the bodies themselves were never found. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza has been fighting an uphill battle ever since to convince families to return to the pizzeria. It's a tragedy. The third journal article reads, "Local pizzeria threatened with shutdown over sanitation." Local pizzeria, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, has been threatened again with shutdown by the health department over reports of foul odor coming from the much-loved animal mascots. Police were contacted when parents reportedly noticed what appeared to be blood and mucus around the eyes and mouths of the mascots. One parent likened them to reanimated carcasses. The fourth and final journal article reads, Local pizzeria said to close by year's end. After a long struggle to stay in business after the tragedy that took place there many years ago, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza has announced that it will close by year's end. Despite a year-long search for a buyer, companies seem unwilling to be associated with the company.
These characters will live on in the hearts of kids. These characters will live on. CEO.
Now, one of the things these journal articles can do is help us figure out who the killer really was. The most popular subject is you, the player, Mike Schmidt. The player often experiences hallucinations during their stay at Freddy Fazbear's, mostly seeing the words, "It's me," repeated all over the restaurant, usually in hallucinogenic text form, or sometimes even scrolled across the walls, replacing some of the posters. But this also comes in the form of Golden Freddy, who can only appear as a hallucination. When you glance at his poster and then lower the camera, he then appears inside of your office, regardless of whether or not your doors are closed. The suit is lifeless and just sits there slumped, and if you stare at it too long, it'll jump scare you and crash the game. If you are indeed the killer, the remnants of your past misdeeds are catching up with you in the form of your hallucinations.
But hey, don't dwell on it too long. Just raise up your monitor and lower it again and it'll be gone. Just like a real hallucination.
Uh-oh. One of the strangest things about Golden Freddy is the child's laugh that can be heard once you see his poster. What the French toast? As we learned from the articles, the killer was caught and convicted. If you, the player, are indeed the killer, perhaps you're waiting on death row, or you're already dead, forced through your own personal Silent Hill-esque nightmare.
Or it could just be someone else and you got a summer job at a spooky place.
Now, to delve deeper into the mystery, I want to tell you a few things about the second game, but that being said, I haven't played it for myself yet, and I mainly want to focus on the first game for now. Before I continue on, this may be a timeline spoiler for anyone who wants the surprise from the second game, so just beware. The second most popular candidate for the killer is Phone Guy. Now, as we know from the second game, being a prequel and all, Phone Guy is working in both, and the actual murders take place in the second game.
Alrighty, class, what did we learn from those newspaper articles?
Flashback to approximately 30 seconds ago. The killer was caught and convicted.
So if Phone Guy is working in the first one and the second one, doesn't that kind of debunk him as the killer? I mean, unless he escaped and then assumed the exact same identity. Like in the job interview. Hey, didn't you used to work here and then you murdered a bunch of people?
No, that wasn't me.
Well, you got an honest face. You're hired.
Plus, as we know, the voice of Phone Guy is the maker of the game, and who wants to label themselves as the murderer of children?
There have been multiple iterations of the Freddy Fazbear restaurants, each eventually ending in closure. The one that precedes the events of Five Nights at Freddy's ends with the event called The Bite of '87.
They used to be allowed to walk around during the day, too. But then there was The Bite of '87. Yeah. It's amazing that the human body can live without the frontal lobe. You know?
The animatronics used to wander around the customers, but are now only allowed to wander at night to prevent their servos locking up. All that is given about the incident is that someone lost their frontal lobe, but survived in the end. It can then be inferred that the restaurant was closed afterwards. Five Nights at Freddy's 1 takes place in a scaled-down version of the second game's restaurant after the event of the bite. The check presented to the player after the fifth night is dated in 1987, so this is most likely when it took place. However, there is no physical evidence in the game showing the bite actually occurring. Except that, and that. There are so many great theories and speculations about FNAF, and I could talk about them all day.
But I'm not gonna!
What about this one?
No.
This one's pretty good.
No.
But I wrote this one, Andrew.
No.
Man, I'm getting really sick and tired of this
No!
Do it!
Okay, jeez.
This is my favorite fan theory for Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, people started to notice that the smudges on Freddy's head look like handprints. Some people theorize that this is due to Freddy being the cause of the bite of '87, and the handprints were left by someone struggling to escape.
However, if you take a look at one of the posters when it has a freakout, it will sometimes change to a picture of Freddy pulling off his own head. Now, it could just be for another creepy effect, but what if it was hinting to a deeper meaning? Since the dead children were stuffed inside of the animatronic suits, the handprints could be from the killer, where he removed the head to hide the body inside. In Five Nights at Freddy's 2, one of the quote-unquote death minigames does support this theory. Give gifts, give life. You can see the puppets stuffing bodies into each of the animatronic suits. Truth, lies, or another crazy theory? It's up to you to decide. Final thoughts. That was the worst theme song ever. Shut up. One of the arguably best things about this game is that you can know everything about it, how they move, how to respond to their advances, and you can still be caught off guard due to the element of randomness. You really have to be on top of your game if you want to survive all 5 nights. It keeps things challenging, and if that's not enough for you, after you survive all 5 nights, there are some extra surprises waiting for you. With so many secrets, mysteries, and some simple but challenging gameplay, FNAF has a lot to keep you intrigued and entertained even if you choose not to play the game yourself. That's why one of my favorite things about this game are the fans. So many people coming together to solve all the mysteries, share any secrets that they've found, and speculate new ideas to try and piece together all of the puzzles. Because nothing is set in stone, the theories are literally endless, which leaves the community open to figure out most everything for themselves. For all that can be said about FNAF, it's unique, memorable, and stressfully fun. After being immersed in the dark and eldritch atmosphere, if nothing else, you might think twice before opening a door in your own life, for fear of what might be looming on the other side. Oh, my pizza! I guess they're not so bad after all.